All right, this week on the show, we are fearlessly questioning Thanksgiving dinner, and we're doing that with my good friend and fellow fearless adventurer, if you will, Courtney Sullivan, who handles the duties up at Humble Hill Farm, which is up in a tiny town in upstate New York. And we connected, I believe it was probably through Ryan Hanley, who we both obviously are associated with a little bit. We both know and follow. And I can't exactly remember what we got, how we got connected, but Courtney being involved in food and farming, and me being a passionate person about the type of food that is grown and produced and then obviously distributed. It was kind of a natural fit there. And Courtney and I have been talking about this show in some form or fashion for a while now, and this is kind of what happened and kind of the timing. We're talking about Thanksgiving dinner, but really it's just the opportunity to take the biggest meal of the year and really put the spotlight on it to kind of then really examine everything else that comes after it. And I think it seems silly, because up until now, everything that we've done and talked about is kind of loosey-goosey business and related and marketing related, and to that extent, how it kind of impacts and affects your life. And I'm sure I've dropped hints somewhere along the way that this show will become something different, something more. We will go in different directions and move beyond those initial kind of footholds that you may or may not have kind of perceived or seen or been stuck in. And that's what we're going to be doing this week. And it's finally time for that to kind of happen. And what I hope to get out of this conversation, and what I hope you get out of this conversation, is the idea that so much of our lives is based around food, but yet so little attention or effort or energy is actually given to it when it comes time to find the best ingredients, to make sure that things are being done the right way and not just be so accepting. I mean, if you want to look at, this is an industry that has created people that are so defensive of this kind of backwards industrialization that they're willing to just say, I don't want to know about it, or don't tell me, I don't believe it, you're crazy, you're just talking about some ridiculous nonsense that I don't care about, and that's all, it's all made up, it's not a thing. And it's kind of weird, it's kind of crazy, and it's downright scary in some instances. But really the goal is to say, listen, we are having these celebrations, these meals, and we are preparing food that, is supposed to be in the best interest of our family. And we're trying to feed and nourish our family, and we're trying to do its best. And I guess the point is that as most often that is counterproductive to what we're actually doing. And I can't quite understand why there isn't more openness to this conversation, why this is something that isn't all that, concerning to people. It's just like it's like a secret society, if you will. We don't talk about it. It's kind of hush hush, and we don't really kind of get into it all that, at least in my experience. Maybe you guys are having some different conversations that I'm not a part of, but it feels like this needs to kind of be brought up into the spotlight and say, listen, here's what's going on, and this is why we need to talk about it. And what we need to talk about is and Courtney being somebody who actually lives it and does it on a daily basis is really important. She has 6 kids, which is insane. I've told her that on numerous occasions. They run a farm, and they grow a lot of their own stuff. They obviously home cook as often as anybody, I would imagine, and are very aware of what is being done to the food system in the country, and how we've just kind of really just stood by and I guess maybe let it happen. But I think we let it happen because we trusted that what was being done or what was happening was in our best interest, and that I guess I'll put it this way: I can't count how many conversations I overhear or am a part of where it's family members or friends or somebody saying, well, that's healthy for you, right? And it's something that has been kind of manufactured to be healthy. And when I mean manufactured, it's the image of that thing being healthy. So like we'll take like a Triscuit or something. So people think like, oh, a Triscuit's healthy. It's not a Dorito. That's kind of the bar we set for ourselves. And ultimately, it's just the way things have become known as being healthy or not is kind of strange and crazy to me. And I think that's ultimately, if I could have just one person walk away from this conversation this week and say, well, maybe I'll start paying attention more to the type or quality of food that I am, making and feeding my family. I think that is all I could really ask for. The reason that I guess, I'm so passionate about it, and it's because it's something that has affected me personally or impacted me personally. And again, depending upon how much or how closely you followed this whole fearlessly questioning thing, if you get over to the about page on the site, I basically detail what kind of started this whole fearless questioning, and it really started with food. I was huge. I was twice my size in college. I like to say I took the freshman 15 challenge every year, and it got to the point where my body said, "Listen, you're fat. Stop being fat." And because you're not stopping yourself, we're going to stop it for you. And really, I just felt terrible, and I couldn't eat much, and ended up dropping a lot of weight because I just had to stop eating a ton of things. And as I stopped eating those things, obviously a ton of weight came off, and then I realized exactly what it was doing, how it was making me feel and impacting my health. And then I slowly started to reintroduce things. And even then, even after that, I still don't even know that I really truly understood, what was, we'll say, healthy or not. I remember thinking, a cheese quesadilla was something that was considered healthy, and kind of industrial farmed sour cream and that kind of taco sauce that you get. It's like we think it's just, again, that perception of what is healthy and what is not, and it's like, oh, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's what a lot of people think. It's not so much the cheese. That's the problem. It's the cheese that has come from those cows that have been just kind of raised long enough to get what they need out of it, and that's it. They're fed grain and a bunch of garbage stuff. I mean, you've maybe heard all this, maybe you haven't. I don't know. There's tons of documentaries out there. I don't want to get up too much on the soapbox, but it's the idea that I have a theory that we can probably almost eat or make anything that we have now if we were to just do it in a kind of just a quality kind of way, I guess. I don't know how. There's a better way to say that. I mean, if we just actually gave a crap a little bit about the way that we made it, we could make almost just about anything that you would normally want to eat. And I think that's the frustrating part, is we have stopped putting in the effort to figure out ways to make these things. When I say these things, I mean food that we've come accustomed to, in a way that is in everybody's best interest. I mean, instead of doing that, we've spent time engineering food that is unhealthy for us, that we want to eat more of, that we can eat more of and not get full, and ultimately creating this addiction, whether it's salt or sugar. You're going to find those being the two biggest offenders. And just that is what I can't quite understand. It's that we've spent more time going in the wrong direction than we have going in the right. And that's what I hope to kind of change today. And I don't know that I need to rant about anything else other than that, because the organic, the non-GMO, I mean, it gets a bad rap sometimes because, again, this is a conversation that is hard to have without all of a sudden a little bit of the crazy alarm bells getting sounded by somebody. Because when you do get passionate about something, and when you do have a topic this polarizing, and again, things have been taken advantage of on the other end too. So my wife is guilty of this. Even we're walking through a Whole Foods and she sees something in there on the shelf and it says organic, this, that, or the other, all natural, this, that, or the other, and she grabs it and says, "Oh, this is good, right?" And so we're taking advantage of people all the way around when it comes to food, and I just really feel that the learning curve should not be this steep. It shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be this challenging to put a decent meal on the table for your family. And, I've often said to people, wouldn't it be interesting? I think it would be nice, but wouldn't it be interesting if we lived in a world to where you had to drive a half an hour to find a thing of Oreos or a bag of cookies or whatever? Where I have to drive a half an hour to a Whole Foods to even just find a decent set of a decent kind of gathering of food that like, again, a Giant Eagle down the street might not have, any of your local grocery stores might not carry. And wouldn't it be interesting if the world were flipped in reverse, where, automatically just the food distribution chain was putting out that type of product and figuring out a way to do it affordably while it's still going to cost more, because it's just, nature, it's going to, we've taken these shortcuts that have reduced costs, but at the same time, the shortcuts that we've taken have, increased a lot of other things that aren't that good. And that's what we're going to get after. What is on your table this Thanksgiving? The turkey, obviously. Where did the turkey come from? How was that raised? And these are all the things that people don't think about. And we're sitting down at these tables with our families. If you are somebody that pays attention to it, then you either have to just kind of swallow your pride for the day. I don't want to say pride, but you just have to kind of suck it up for a day and nibble around a little bit at all the stuff and that's kind of being served that isn't necessarily what you would constitute as healthy or something that you really want to eat. And otherwise, if you don't, then again you get kind of labeled as that kind of that guy that's funny about his food, or that girl that's funny about her food, and you really can become an outcast in that. And we just want to make this a more open conversation to be had, so you don't have to be that person. And if everybody else starts understanding that maybe the way that we've done it for these last 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years might not be the way that we should continue to do it, and that we are ultimately capable of finding a better solution. If that could happen, then I can really ask for no more. So we'll be back to Fearlessly Question Thanksgiving dinner with Courtney Sullivan. So be sure to check back with us this week for the live conversation. I look forward to it a lot. I can't wait for the show. Hey, I'm Joey Giangola. We'll take it easy and catch you on the next one.